Okay, what's up, everybody? Sorry, having major issues with the app. I had all this stuff set up and then nothing saved, and then logging in. Real pain in the ass. But anyway, thank you for waiting. And I wanted to cover this story because a couple of people have been messaging me about this. This Florida man, Wade Wilson, from a situation that happened back in 2019, where two people were murdered, but there was another lady that apparently was attacked. And then found this other clip of a fourth woman that said she had an incident with this guy as well. And he confessed, apparently, what he did, allegedly, to his father, to his ex, to an acquaintance. And one of the ladies he had run over multiple times and supposedly described this to his father as she looked like spaghetti. And so now he's trying to say that he was framed. He didn't do this. It wasn't him. I don't know. Maybe he saw the Karen Reed trial and it's like, you know what? Maybe I was framed too. So we're gonna check it out because there's a jailhouse call that's like 30 minutes long. We're gonna go over some of the details of the case. The trial starts on Monday, and I might try to cover it on the second channel, Ick and Mel CC. If you're not on Ick and Mel CC, make sure you subscribe to Ick and Mel CC. We'll see how it goes. Now, we're going to go into some of the details. Okay, Wade Wilson asked the court if he may cut his hair, cover the tattoos ahead of capital murder trial. So they had this request because of the way he looked. I guess there were some concerns. Will he get a fair trial? Now, I feel like, well, man, this is how you go out. This is how everybody should see you. The real life Joker. One of the real life Jokers. And apparently it got approved for him to cover up his facial stuff and get a haircut. But I saw a video from last night from Court TV that said now he's saying he's going to go dressed like this. Like he was approved to wear makeup. He was going to put on some makeup and cover all this stuff up. And apparently now he's going to go without the makeup. And it says here that the Fort Myers man is facing death penalty linked to 2019 murders of two Cape Coral women to stand trial beginning Monday. They're asking the court for permission to change his cosmetics. And Wade Wilson is charged of first-degree murder of Kristen Melton, 35 years old. Now, Wade, I don't know. I saw two different articles. One said he's 29. Another one said he's 30. So he's either 29 or 30. So he's charged with first-degree murder with Kristen Melton. She's 35. Grand theft of Melton's car, which we'll get into details about that in a second. Battery of Melissa Montanez, 41. She's still alive. And then first-degree murder of Diane Ruiz, 43. Burglary of a dwelling belonging to Kent Amelin or Fanny Amelin. And petty theft from Kent Amelin or Fanny Amelin. So Melton and Ruiz were killed within days of each other in October 2019. Melton was found dead in her home. Ruiz's body was found in a field days after her disappearance. State prosecutors said in the court documents that Wilson, the Joker, stole Melton's car after killing her and visited Montanez in Melton's car. So he kills this woman, then goes to visit somebody else, and the person he killed uses her cell phone to contact Montanez. I don't know exactly the connection between them. After Wilson attacks Montanez, he fled in Melton's car and encountered Diane Ruiz in Cape Coral, where police say he killed her and repeatedly drove over her body using Melton's car. I don't remember I think they said, yes, Ruiz's body was in Melton's car. So Wilson entered a nearby business where he confessed the homicides to an acquaintance. The acquaintance then dialed 911. Wilson fled on foot and broke into a nearby home, leading to the latter two of the 6 charges. Authorities found Ruiz's body in Melton's car, along with both women's cell phones, according to court documents. Some of the challenges to the death penalty. Since January, Wilson has challenged recent changes to death penalty recommendations by jurors. He wanted separate trials for the different charges, sought to bar victim impact evidence at trial, and hoped 3 aggravating factors would be dismissed in his case, alleging unconstitutionality. So he's hoping and praying. He also said he was framed by some human trafficking organization. What's up, everybody? What's up? My chat looks... Oh, I see what's going on. I'm seeing 2 different chats. Everybody, welcome. Thank you. Hit the like button, please. So additional charges while incarcerated. Wilson has at least twice faced additional charges since his incarceration in jail, 2019 homicides. In April of last year, he faced charges of narcotics scheme. And in October 2020, Wilson, along with a man accused of a domestic violence case, was thwarted in a bid to escape Lee County Jail. So he tried to escape. The sheriff's office report said that Wilson was the primary planner and instigator of the attempt. According to the separate arrest report in the Lee County Sheriff's Office, around 6 a.m. April 20, 2023, a canine conducted a free air sniff outside of the main Lee County Jail because of narcotics allegedly placed there. The canine identified narcotics near an area where landscaping rocks are laid. Authorities recovered a gray grocery bag with 2 Ziploc bags inside. Each contained loose cigarettes, suspected narcotics, lighters, and pills. And bags tested positive for methamphetamine. An anonymous inmate trustee reported the narcotics were brought by an inmate trustee, Bobby Hitchman. The arrest report, Hitchman was providing the narcotics to another inmate trustee, Daniel McKelly, who then distributed them to Wilson and a second inmate. All right, so this guy, let me show you something else. Let's take a look at this clip real quick. This is, so we have, okay, Christine Melton that was murdered, Diane Ruiz that was murdered, and then we have Melissa Montanez, which she was like attacked. And there's a 4th woman. I'm gonna play the clip for you now. This is from back then, I believe. This video is from 2019. A 4th woman that claims that she was kidnapped and all kinds of stuff by this guy, Wade Wilson.
At 11. It's chilling to look at this exclusive surveillance footage recorded just 2 streets over from where the body of a missing mom, Diane Ruiz, was found in Cape Coral. In this video, you see a black Nissan Versa. It goes right past there. I'm Patrick Nolan.
And I'm Jane Monreal. The timestamp shows 9:59 a.m. The same morning Ruiz went missing, and the same day police found Christine Melton dead in her home. Now, police believe the person behind those deaths was driving Melton's black Nissan Versa.
Cape Coral police tonight are confirming they
There's the video.
consider Wade Wilson, who's in custody, seen here in a court appearance yesterday, a person of interest.
And it looks like he has less tattoos at that time in his face anyway.
In the deaths of both these women.
Fox 4's Jillian Hartman in the neighborhood where Christine's car was seen. Jillian?
Well, tonight, neighbors tell me they saw a black car pull out of the woods here the same morning Diane Ruiz went missing. We checked and we found evidence markers on the ground that detectives placed, which possibly shows the tracks of their investigation. Crime scene tape and orange evidence markers in the area where neighbors say Diane Ruiz was found along Northwest 4th Place. Tonight, Fox 4 getting their hands on this exclusive surveillance footage from a neighbor who lives 2 streets over. As we slow down the video, you can see a black Nissan Versa driving past this home at 9:45 a.m. The same day Ruiz went missing and Christine Melton was found dead inside her home. Tonight, Fox 4 also getting new photos of the 35-year-old who worked as a waitress at Duffy's in Cape Coral. Her family sent us a statement saying in part, she was a once-in-a-lifetime person. Think of her that way. Please pray for us. Pray for the family of Diane Ruiz as we are living a nightmare you cannot fathom. Tonight, Cape PD connect Wade Wilson to the death of both women. Wilson is also accused of beating up an ex-girlfriend outside her business. Meanwhile, I've been talking to a 4th woman who met Wilson in Palm Beach County. She also describes a scary incident that happened in February.
After what had happened with me, I knew it would happen eventually. In February, he kidnapped me and tied me up in the back of my car naked bound and gagged.
She says he sexually assaulted her.
I thought he was going to kill me that night.
Kelly says prosecutors ended up dropping the charges in her case because of a lack of evidence. Now tonight, Wade Wilson is in jail and he's being held without bail for unrelated charges. At this time, he has not been charged for the death of both women, but we do expect...
That's an old clip. Now, there's some more details on this article here that the father of the Florida man who has been in jail on murder charges for nearly 5 years. Imagine that. Now this is just heading to trial on Monday. This is from 2019. So the father of this guy said that his son confessed to killing one of his suspected victims, leaving her looking like spaghetti. Now, this kind of made me think a little bit of like the TikTok guy, some weirdo shit. Like this guy, the TikTok superstar, kills his wife and kills the friend, and then like texts his parents pictures of the bodies. Hey, Ma. Hey, Dad. I really did it, Ma. And then calls him. This dude called his dad. Apparently, allegedly called his dad. He ran over her so many times. One of his victims. So Wade Wilson's double murder trial began in Cape Coral this week. So the jury selection has already started. Monday, this coming Monday, is supposed to be the trial. It's supposed to be 3 weeks long. And, you know, we mentioned Christine Melton and Diane Ruiz from 2019. And his defense team was also granted an unusual request to allow Wilson to wear makeup in court to cover his tattoos on his face, including swastikas. However, they were still visible at the start of the trial. He previously denied killing the woman in an interview with NBC, but his father told investigators that his son called him after spending the night with Melton and asked for help. He explained how his son admitted to strangling Melton while she was sleeping, then rolled her up in a carpet. The dad added Wilson said he picked up a woman, asked for directions, choked her, and then ran her over so many times he made her look like spaghetti. He told investigators. Here's the guy right here. The defendant admitted to meeting the woman, and sleeping at Melton's house before authorities discovered her body. However, he asserts that Melton was alive when he left in her car. That same night, Ruiz was reported missing after she vanished while walking home from a job at the Moose Lodge about a mile from her home. She was found dead the next day behind Sam's Club. Police linked the two deaths, and both women were strangled. Seems like his MO is strangulation. An ex-girlfriend told the news that Wilson admitted to the crimes. If convicted, he faces the death penalty. And in Florida, you only need 8 out of 10 jurors, I guess, to recommend a death penalty. So you don't even have to have everybody on board. You get 8 out of 10, death penalty. Family members of the victims were not seen in the courtroom as jury selection began. Arguments and evidence are expected to be released in the trial next week. One of Mr. Wilson's prior attorneys died. That's the other weird thing about it. So supposedly he's on his 4th attorney. Somewhere I saw that. And his first attorney, one of the attorneys, passed away while awaiting the trial. And the defendant previously tried to escape jail. Now, there's, I think jury selection might have finished. I don't know. 60 potential jurors. And it's a 3-week trial. Attorneys have to secure a 16-person jury to listen to the evidence in the law enacted last summer. Okay. Let's see if we can jump to the jailhouse call now. Is there anything else I wanted from here? His father states that Wilson called him after spending a night with Melton. But he told investigators Wilson called him after spending a night with Melton asking for help. She was a server at Cape Coral Bar. The son admitted that while she was sleeping, strangled her, then rolled her up in a carpet. He does admit that he met her at a bar the night before she was found dead and slept at her house, but claimed she was alive. It made her look like spaghetti. That's crazy, right? Imagine meeting up with this guy. Now, I don't know if these tattoos happened while he was locked up, because some of the previous things I've seen looks like he didn't have as many tattoos on his face. Wild. Wilson seemed confident, even smug at times, while sporting his orange jumpsuit and a more sinister appearance since his first charge with murder more than 3 years ago. I'm not a monster. I'm not a saint either by any means. I've made bad decisions in my past, Wilson says.
We've all been called for jury service in the case of the state of Florida versus Wade Wilson.
And with those words, Wade Wilson's trial began. He faces 6 charges, 2 counts of murder for the strangulation of Christine Melton and Diane Ruiz, grand theft of a motor vehicle, battery, burglary, and petty theft. Charges the judge read to Wilson in court.
Did unlawfully from a premeditated design to...
He showed no emotion on his face, though Wilson did fold his arms and lean back at times as his attorneys and the prosecution questioned potential jurors.
Do you have any personal or moral or religious opposition to the death penalty?
Both sides asked that because if Wilson's found guilty, he could be sentenced to death.
Even if you find that the aggravating factors outweigh the mitigating circumstances, do you understand that the law will never compel you to come back with a recommendation for death?
The attorneys also asked about the tattoos on Wilson's face. You can see a line by his mouth mimicking stitches, a swastika on his face, and many other tattoos.
Is there anything about his face that would cause you just to say, oh, he's guilty, or would you be able to say, I'm going to listen to the evidence and make the state prove the charge beyond a reasonable doubt?
Okay, he did it.
The judge ruled Wilson can wear makeup to try to cover up the tattoos, but he did not appear to have any on the first day of the trial. Again, jury selection will take about a week.
That's that. This is the jail call. We're going to do the jail call in a second. Accused. I want to actually take a look at this real quick.
Artwork he has done on his face. But apparently, this is unbelievable because this is during jury selection. He had one emotion to get makeup to cover it up. You know, a little concealer, a nice foundation, maybe some primer, and then he'd put some powder. You know, you could cover that up, I guess, to a certain extent. But he's just...
That'd be a whole lot of makeup to cover all that up. I mean, literally his whole surrounding face. He'd have to cover everything.
Going on that.
He'd have to have like a makeup artist.
Natural during jury selection.
Maybe it's Maybelline.
Julie Grant has the rest of the story for us tonight.
43-year-old Diane Ruiz and 35-year-old Christine Melton were both strangled to death in 2019. Investigators say Wade Wilson murdered both women.
Very early on, our detectives identified Wade Wilson as a person of interest.
Police believe Wilson met Melton at a bar. Her body was found in her home on October 7th. Wilson allegedly killed her and drove to meet his then-girlfriend.
And remember, we covered that Milwaukee situation too, where this woman met some Jeffrey Dahmer-like guy. I think I was off a dating app, and she was like, "Oh my God, he's so nice," and blah blah blah. And they go to meet at a restaurant or some bar where the guy worked. Next thing you know, her body's in pieces the next day, literally chopped up in pieces throughout the beach and everywhere else. Dating's just not the same.
Friend in Melton's car. The couple got into a fight, and he allegedly dragged and punched her in the face. Also on October 7th, Ruiz went missing while walking to her job. The next day, Wilson was arrested for the battery of his girlfriend. Days later, Ruiz's body was found in a field. Wilson was quickly identified as a person of interest. He was indicted by a grand jury on November 19th, 2019. He was charged with first-degree murder. He has pleaded not guilty.
I did not commit these murders, and I'm innocent.
Bruh, I don't know what's up with these people. They say he allegedly admitted it to his father, acquaintance, and ex.
Wilson allegedly confessed to the murders multiple times, but he denies any involvement when he did a jailhouse interview with 4...
Just like Chad Dorman that killed his 3 kids or something. Was it 3 kids? There was body cam on that. He admitted it was a confession. He tried to have it thrown out.
Fort Myers news station WBBH.
Did you kill Christine Melton and Diane Ruiz?
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. I'm not a monster. Yeah, I'm not a saint either. By any means, I made bad decisions in the past, of course.
There is no known connection between Ruiz and Melton. Those who knew and loved them say they just want justice. WBBH spoke to Ruiz's boyfriend.
I want to remember her the way I have her right here.
What does that look like?
Heaven. I hope he rots in hell.
If
Oh my
convicted,
God.
Wade Wilson could face the death penalty.
I got a PayPal. I don't know if it's gonna pop up on the feed. We'll see. Oh, you know what? I might have to do it like this. I think it should pop up. I don't know.
A couple of things that he said really struck me. I've made some bad decisions. I'm not a monster. Well, jury selection continuing on Thursday. Opening statements are expected on Monday. Of course,
Monday.
your front row seat to justice will be all over this case as well.
I think this is going to be streamed.
It's my understanding that he has a great deal of money invested in Sherwin-Williams. He has a lot of stock because he doesn't, regular makeup's not going to get it. He needs to have paint. Yes, I represented a guy by the name of Gunplay who had exactly.
Gunplay. I remember that guy had a bunch of stuff in his face too. I don't think these people should be able to hide their shit. If that's how you are, that's how you roll around publicly. Why now in the court you want to try to make it seem like something else? I get that they're thinking like, oh well, people are gonna judge because that's how you present yourself publicly all the time, 24/7. So yes, you should show up to court how you present yourself all the time. I mean, I don't know. I guess you could kind of argue. Well, you know, I mean, the woman can wear makeup. I want to wear makeup too, I guess.
It's not the same
pull up
charges
Gunplay.
because he's a nicer guy, but he had tattoos everywhere.
And did the jury see them?
He didn't go to trial because his lawyer, speaking now, said, because when a jury...
I don't know which would be worse, the tattoos or state versus Gunplay, right?
Know the name, yeah.
That could be a problem.
But you do dress your client up to look politically correct. So you have them have their hair, either shave if it's a guy.
Well, you don't want to shave his head because then you reveal
I
another
know.
swastika.
But with him, he's got too much.
Oh shit. Yo, Richard Rios, Richard, thank you so much for the super chat. It says Trooper Proctor set up Wade Wilson as also, I bet. As soon as this guy said framing, I was like, oh, the first thing that popped up was Karen Reed, but this guy's claim is way, he doesn't have anything near as close as much as the defense has to play around with Karen Reed.
What's going on? There's not enough makeup. I kind of agree with Daryl that.
I don't think he wore any.
But he's doing this on purpose because he's getting more tattoos every day as he behind bars. Now he's not the Wade Wilson who was your purple tie Minnesota quarterback.
No.
The Vikings in the 80s, great fantasy football quarterback, same name, may he rest in peace. But he's getting swastikas and more tatted up, knowing that he's potentially going to go to trial. So obviously, if there's intent, he's doing this on purpose. He's crazy. He's just whacked out.
So what does what does the jury do with it? What do you say to the jury? Like you're saying you're not going to hold it against him, but like you're going to look at this guy every day. What are you going to do?
You have to take the worst part and throw it in the jury's face early. You have to say, he looks terrible. I give you that. He acts terrible, obviously, because he painted his face. I give you that. But that doesn't mean the evidence should be held against him unless it is against him. You cannot convict him based on the way he looks or doesn't look.
But it's a step further because he's got a big swastika here and a swastika here, so you have to even go further about that. And like Daryl said, get out in the open with it. Look, the swastikas is a horrible, disgusting thing. But that has nothing to do with what he's being charged with. You have to base it on the evidence. Hear the evidence.
You are supposed to do that as a juror.
But like Daryl said, get in front of it and throw it out there and try to somehow just put it to the side, even though it's impossible. That's all you can do.
Unsuccessfully.
You can't hide it, so you might as well.
How about him testifying or speaking at any point? This is a death penalty case.
No.
2 victims. He's talking to the media. He's very very clear about, it's not that, they can't prove it, it's I am innocent.
But he gave statements.
He confessed, so doesn't he have to explain those confessions?
It depends on what the confessions are. Let's pretend the confessions, they extrapolate certain words, and that's what the prosecution calls a confession. That does happen. Then I'd have my client potentially testify. It depends on his personality, because his view, looking at him is not a good chance of success. But maybe he's erudite. You don't know.
And what's it like to represent someone like this?
I wouldn't.
You wouldn't.
Very simple. But you also want to know as to the interrogation. Was this a 5, a 10-minute, a 10-hour interrogation? Sure. When did he confess? Was he under 10 hours of I need
food,
coffee.
no drink.
Are
No.
jurors open to that concept of a false confession?
100%. 100%.
But I think he told other people that he did it, not confessed to like law enforcement, but he made statements to other people before he was arrested. And obviously that's a big problem because that's
Huge problem.
Right.
Yeah,
Huge problem.
that's gonna
or
come in.
lies.
Now,
By the way, Sarah Boone had a hearing today. We can come back in a little while and watch Sarah Boone. For those that don't know, Sarah Boone somehow convinced her boyfriend to get into a suitcase. They were both drinking. There's video of it, if you've never heard of it. So this guy climbs into a suitcase. She squeezes him in and locks it up. And then he's like, hey, let me out. Like, this is not funny, whatever. Like, just, no. She left his ass there. Started recording, talking ish to him. You cheater, calling him all kinds of stuff, cursing him out. And then she went upstairs and went to sleep or passed out. And he dies in the suitcase. And she has an interrogation. And during the interrogation, it's like she didn't remember anything. And they're talking to her. She's like pretending like she don't know what's going on. They're like, oh, well, we have this video on your phone. She's like, what? They literally play the video back to her recording him and talking shit to him while he's begging, like, please let me out. He died slowly in the suitcase. She had a hearing today. She's on her 8th attorney, apparently. I think it says 8 here, I think. You see? I saw somewhere it said 8. Sarah Boone complains about 8th attorney. Nobody wants to deal with her, and she don't want to deal with nobody. Anyway.
if in fact, all this is happening while he's behind bars, right? So he's locked up for all this. What is going on behind bars? How are people getting tattoos behind bars, by the way?
Are you kidding?
How does that happen?
They can get their
Easy.
cell phone. They
Creativity.
can smoke marijuana. I mean, come on now. They have everything in there.
We have
Do you
all
need
sorts
needles
of
for
artists.
tattoo? I've never gotten a tattoo.
I
don't
haven't
know.
either, nor will I, at least not knowingly. But I've been tattooed from time to time, but that's another story. You can get a tattoo without the needles, and it happens all of the time. Go to the Fulton County Jail, and you will see people that didn't have...
I will not be going to the jail, Daryl. I'm
Take a
very
visit.
comfortable here on this couch.
I mean, things are smuggled in jails all the time, and a lot of law enforcement officials work in jail. They're getting paid under the table.
All right, let's hear the jailhouse call now. Where's that at? Right here. I ran into this.
It's the Lee County Jail. To accept this call, press 0. To refuse this call, this telephone call may be monitored or recorded. If you are an attorney and hearing this message, please hang up and call the Corrections Services Division at 239-258-3626. Thank you for using GTL.
Hello.
Hey, is this Wade?
Hey, this is Wade. How's it
Hi.
going?
This is Rochelle with Fox 4. How are you doing?
Good. I'm doing good, Rochelle. How are you?
I'm good. Wade, really quickly, I just wanted to confirm, are you okay that we're recording and going to broadcast this interview? Are you okay with that?
I'm okay with that. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, can you confirm, just to make sure it's you, can you just confirm your date of birth, day, month, and year?
Yes, my date of birth is May 20th, 1994.
Okay.
Close to my
And you're currently in the Lee County Jail?
Well, he's 94, though.
I am. Yes, ma'am.
All right. Wade, I mean, I hate to get to the heavy stuff right off the bat, but this is a question a lot of people at home have been asking us. They want to know the answer to, so I just want to ask you right off the bat. People want to know, are you guilty of those murders? Did you commit those murders concerning Christine Melton and Diane Ruiz?
No, ma'am. I did not commit these murders, and I'm innocent. I did not. No, ma'am.
So take us through, can you take me through October 6th through the 8th? From the start of October 6th to the day of your arrest.
So let me kind of start to tell you, can I go ahead and just speak a little bit? Is that okay?
No, go for it. Tell me.
Okay, so, the night of October 6th, the 6th, on the 6th, October 6th, so we went to, me and Mila, we went to a bar called Buddha, right? And we went to the Buddha, and we were there for a little while, maybe 2 or 3 hours we had been there. And to let everybody know, I did leave the Buddha with Kristen, okay?
So Kristen is one of the ladies that was murdered.
I left with Kristen, and it was me, it was Kristen, it was one of her friends, Kristen's friends, who I don't know the name of. I'm not sure what her name is. And also another individual, which was a guy, that was at the Buddha as well. He was there. He came with us, so we all left. Me and Mila have a 2016 Dodge Hellcat, and we all left in the Hellcat, and we went to and the guy that I'm telling you about, I don't know his name. I'm not sure who he was. I'm not sure what his name is. He was an individual that we all met at the Buddha, and but we went to his house first, and he lives off McGregor, and we went to his house, and we partied a little bit at his house, and me and Kristen were intimate, and Kristen's friend and the man that I'm speaking of, they were kind of just like in the other room talking amongst themselves with each other, while me and Kristen, like I said, we were intimate together. And then, we were there at his house for a little while, like I said, and then we went to leave his house, so now it was just me, Kristen, and her friend. And we were going to leave his house, and we were going to leave, like I said, in the Hellcat. It just so happened that the Hellcat was actually out of gas. We ran out of gas. So we pulled out of his driveway, and we went down the road a little bit, but we didn't even make it off his road. We were still on his street. The Hellcat broke down. We pulled it over into the side of the grass. And then Kristen called for an Uber ride for all of us. And so she called for the Uber, and we went from there, from the Hellcat in the Uber to Kristen's house. Me, her, and her friend, Kristen's friend. And we got to the house, and we were all there just hanging out. And then Kristen's friend actually left the house. She said that she had work or whatnot the following day, and she had to go. So she eventually left. She called. I think her car was there, and she drove away in her vehicle. And again, me and Kristen were continuing to be intimate together. And this went on for, I don't know, me and her together maybe an hour. And, now it's maybe, I don't know, 5, 6 o'clock in the morning, somewhere around then. And, like I said, I mentioned to you earlier that my vehicle was out of gas. So now my vehicle is all the way at McGregor on a street, of the guy, the house that we went to with the man. So I have to get my car, and anyways, so I asked Kristen if it's okay for me to bring her phone in her car, because I wanted to get my car out of there, because it's an expensive car. I'm not familiar with that road. I don't want my car there. I don't want it on the side of the road. I don't want it to get towed.
I know, right? Convoluted.
So I was trying to figure something out with that. So she let me use her vehicle, and I told her that I would be back. I would come back, and that was okay with her. And so I left, and I wasn't exactly sure where off McGregor my car was. Like, I didn't know the name of the road or anything like that. So I called Mila, and I was going to meet with Mila and have her help me, because she's actually from Fort Myers. I'm not from here. Have her help me find the vehicle. And so I went to Mila's. We have a place called Mila Spa. It's right in front of Joe's Crab Shack, downtown Fort Myers. And so I went there to meet her. I don't really want to get into specifics about anything that happened or did not happen, with me and Mila.
Who's Mila?
Obviously I left. I got there, left Mila, and I left the area. So that's the beginning half of the story that I wanted to tell you. Did you get all of that?
I did. So I just want to confirm with you, the last time you saw Christine Melton, she was alive.
Correct, she was, yes, ma'am. And this was around, like I said, when I left her house, this was around either 5 or 6, one of the two. I'm not entirely sure, but it was early morning, definitely.
Okay. What happened next?
Sure. You said what?
So I know you said you didn't want to talk about it, but I just have to ask. Mila said that when you met up with her in Christine's car, that there was a physical altercation, that you beat her. Are you going to tell us any more about that? Can you confirm that? Are you gonna?
Who said that? Mila did?
Mila said that when you met up with her in Christine's car, that there was a physical altercation, that you beat her. Are you going to tell us any more about that? Can you confirm that? Are you going to admit to that?
I don't want to talk about that at the moment. Yeah, I don't want to talk.
Don't want to talk about that. I wonder if Mila's going to be testifying in the trial.
About that. I can tell you this much. I didn't beat her. I can tell you that. So, this is something. Let me go into a little further detail with that situation. I mean, like I said, I don't really wish to speak on that entirely right now. Maybe when you and I have a visit and we sit down in front of each other, that would be something that I could talk further with. But I do want to include, and whether or not you decide to use this is up to you.
Okay.
Maybe 4 or 5 months ago, Mila, she pressed charges against me, saying the same thing that I guess she's saying now. And just to let you know, actually 4 or 5 months ago, she went to the state attorney's office and she filed to dismiss the charges because they were untrue. And so she actually had it thrown out. So this is not, just to let you know, this is not the first time that she's decided that she's wanted to do something of this nature.
Okay.
It's not the first time.
So after you left you saw Mila, after you left, what happens next, Wade?
Okay, so after leaving Mila, I called Mila. I called Mila and asked her, what was going on, and she actually told me she was to put it simply, she told me more that she was unhappy with me. First of all, because of the previous night, she was unhappy with me for leaving with another woman. She didn't like that at all, and so I could kind of tell by her voice and the way that she was talking that it wasn't sounding good. And like I told you, what she had done to me 4 or 5 months ago, this is not uncommon. This is something that she tends to do. So it was not sounding good. So anyways, long story short, I don't know where my car is. It's somewhere off the Gregor. I can't find it. I don't know where this guy's house is. I can't find his house. I can't find the car. Any of these things. So, but I'm still trying to. So now I'm kind of in a frenzy because of Mila, how she's talking, what she's sounding like she's gonna do. Everything is not sounding good with her. And so I don't wish to be around her. I don't want to be anywhere near her when she's acting this way. So just, I'm really just trying to find the car now at this point. Anyways, so and the other problem, there was another issue as well, Rochelle. The other issue was that Kristen, here's the problem. I'm not from here. I couldn't remember exactly where she lived. And this was another big issue for me because I was trying to get back to her house, but not knowing where she lived wouldn't permit me to do so. So that wasn't working out very well for me either. And the bad thing about it was I had her phone, and so there was no way for me to call her, which would not have mattered anyways because I didn't know her phone number. So that wouldn't have mattered anyways. But listen, Rochelle, I don't know how much more in detail I can go, but I would like to do a visit and talk to you face to face.
Yeah, I guess
I want to give you the first half of the story. Obviously, there's another half to it.
Right.
Which I don't mind giving you as well. I would like to.
Yeah. I guess just one question before we continue though is why did you have Christine's phone with you?
Hold on, Michelle, you're breaking up just a little bit. I can't hear you too well.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, ma'am, I can.
Yeah. Why did you have Christine's phone with you when you left to go find your car?
The reason that I had her phone was because, first of all, she said I could take it. That was the first thing. She didn't mind. I could take her car. I could take her phone. Because I needed to call Mila because Mila wasn't. It's the spa that we meet up at, and she was not there, obviously. And so I had to be able to call her to talk to her, ask her where she was. Can we meet up at the spa? And I don't have my own phone. I don't actually have a phone. So that was the reason behind that.
Gotcha. Did you know Christine before that night, or did you guys just meet at the Buddha?
No, we just met at the Buddha. That was the first time that we had met. I didn't know her previously before then. Excuse me.
Okay. So you have her phone, you have her car, you don't remember where she lives. What happens next? What do you do next?
What I do next was drive around and try to find her house. That's what I did. And it took a little while.
Why did you have Christine's phone with you when you left to go find your car?
The reason that I had her phone was because, first of all, she said I could take it. That was the first thing. She didn't mind. I could take her car. I could take her phone. Because I needed to call Mila, because Mila wasn't, it's the spa that we meet up at, and she was not there, obviously, and so I had to be able to call her to talk to her, ask her where she was, can we meet up at the spa, and I don't have my own phone. I don't actually have a phone, so that was the reason behind that.
Gotcha. Did you know Christine before that night, or did you guys just meet at the Buddha?
No, we just met at the Buddha. That was the first time that we had met. I didn't know her previously before then.
Okay. So you have her phone, you have her car, you don't remember where she lives. What happens next? What do you do next?
What I do next was drive around and try to find her house. That's what I did. And it took a little while. Actually, it took a couple hours, I don't know. Just trying to find the road, trying to find her house. I know what her house looks like. I remember, but I can't find the road. And so yeah, so that's really all, Rochelle, that's all I want to tell you about for now, if that's okay.
So I just want to confirm something at the end there. Sure. So you were able to find her house. Did you just return the car and leave the phone inside and walk away? Like, how did that work out?
I was unable to find her house. I was not able to find it.
So what did you do with the car and her phone?
Well, I drove to, like I said, I'm not from here, so I'm unfamiliar with the territory, but I drove to a friend of mine's business, which I'm sure everyone knows about. I mean, you guys have been reporting it, everyone's been talking about it, so it's nothing new. I mean, you already know, I went to his business and I sat there with the vehicle, and didn't really know what else to do. First of all, because Mila is the only other girl. She's the only person that I have in Fort Myers. She's mad at me. She's upset. So that was not an option. So I used to work. I was employed by Mateo Graphics, and so I went over there because I knew how to actually get there.
Okay.
And that's where I believe the police, I guess, had found the vehicle.
So, based on the police reports we're getting, that you were found shirtless and covered in blood inside of that home. Is that true?
Sure. That is actually not true. No, it's not. And
Tammy LP donated $10. Taking my break from the last-minute moving stuff before the movers come early tomorrow morning. Thanks for all you do, Mel. Love this community as a whole.
Thank you, Tammy. I hope you guys have a safe move. Yeah, you're moving in tomorrow, right? I think is what you said. Everything's acting so weird for me on this YouTube thing today. Okay. I want to pop up your message on the screen, but this thing's acting weird. All right. I'll figure it out after. I have to figure out a bunch of stuff. Have the whole weekend. But thank you, Tammy. I hope you guys have a safe move. I know you said it's a couple hours.
Well, actually, when I was found inside of that home, I was completely dressed. I had a shirt on. I wasn't bloody. I wasn't anything. Here's the second half of the story that everybody's wanting to know. And obviously you're saying, did I have anything to do with these two murders? Are they tragic? Yes, they are. Did I have anything to do with them? No, it's not. And is it tragic that I'm sitting in jail?
Oh, Tammy, you did it through Streamlabs. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate that. I get majority of the percentage of that. Thank you.
People honestly think that I'm a monster. Yes, it is. That's wrong. But so the second half of the story is I was driving around looking for Kristen's house. Okay. And so I'm driving around at this point in time around Cape Coral. And yes, I did run into Diane. And yes, I did meet her. And yes, I did see her. But I didn't have anything to do with her death. The only thing that had happened was I asked her for directions, trying to kind of get a general view of where I was at, because now at this point I'm in Cape Coral looking for Kristen's house. I can't find her house. I know what it looks like. I vaguely know what the streets around it look like and the houses around it look like, but I don't know how to get there. But now I have another issue. Mila is not answering the phone. She's mad at me. She's upset. She doesn't want to answer the phone. So I'm kind of stuck a little bit in Cape Coral. and can't. I could find my way back, but it was a problem. I was having trouble with directions, to say the least. And Diane, I asked her for directions, and well, is there anything you want to ask me, or do you want me to keep going?
Yeah, actually, I wanted to just follow up on that. So, describe that encounter. Was she just walking down the side of the street? What time was it? How did that work?
What time it was? It was early morning. I mean, I can't give you an exact time. You know, I really can't.
Yeah.
7 or 8, maybe in the morning.
And this is Monday morning?
And yes, correct. Yes.
Okay.
Of the 7th, correct?
Yes.
Yes, correct. Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am. Of the morning. Yes.
So you're driving.
and
It's early in the morning. You don't know where you're going. Then what happens next?
Okay, what happens next is I asked her for directions, and she was trying to help me figure out where I was. First of all, asked her how to get back to Fort Myers, and just, you know, where I'm at. She helped me out with the directions, and then she actually asked me for a ride. She was going to work, I believe, and she had asked me for a ride. So I gave her a ride, and it was a short, I mean, it wasn't even far that I had given her a ride, maybe a 5-minute drive. And I dropped her off, and I believe that it was at a bus stop, so I believe that she was getting on the bus, and that was it with her.
And do you remember what was around you? Do you kind of have an idea of like where you dropped her off, where that bus stop was?
Was that where?
Do you have an idea of where that bus stop was, where you dropped her off?
No, like I said, I'm not familiar with the area, no ma'am.
Okay. So you dropped her off, and again, the last time you saw Diane Ruiz, she was alive as well?
Yes, she was alive, yes, correct, yes ma'am.
So after that happens, where do you go next? After you drop Diane off, what happens next?
Okay, what happens after that is then, what happens next is...
Is he coming out with a story?
She gave me directions on how to get back to Fort Myers, and that was enough for me to... I couldn't find Kristen's house, so I kind of gave up on that. My second thought was that I would go and try to meet back up with Mila and figure out what to do next. You know, first of all, we have to get our car. Second of all, I have to return this car to Kristen. And so these are the things that I have to do. So I go back to Fort Myers, and I think I believe that I went back to Mateo Graphics, and that's across the bridge in Fort Myers, like I said, where I used to be employed. And I parked the vehicle there. I went inside Mateo Graphics, called Mila, but did not go back to meet up with her again. And then, let's see, and then leaving the car there, I left the business and walked on foot, and that was it. The rest, there's really not much left to the story after that.
So I just wanted
they said that they found me, and I guess I had blood on me.
Yes.
The first thing is, to be honest with you, this is not true. If there was any blood on me, it was from myself, because I do personal training, and my hands, I had been doing push-ups on the ground on asphalt, which was not smart of me, but I did. And I had two, quarter-sized scars, open wounds on my hand that had reopened. And, they constantly are reopening. They're on the palm of my hand. And there was a little bit of blood on my pants, I believe, from that. And like I said, this is no wonder that the police, even with everything they have now, like my clothes and whatnot, my pants, the FDLE testing that they say that they're running, it's not a surprise that I haven't been charged with anything. I know this because the blood that's on my pants is from my hand. So if they're saying that there's any blood, it's from myself.
So wait, I have to ask you, we spoke to Mila, and she's claiming that when you confess, she's claiming that you confessed to her, And she says that when you confessed that you told her you were under the influence of drugs. Is there any truth to that at all?
No, there's not truth to that. And if I do, like what people do in their personal lives is what they decide to do. I don't think that it's fair for other people to get into other people's personal business. And if you drink alcohol, I'm not going to ask you if you do. That's your own business. You're a grown woman. You're a grown individual. Mila doesn't know me very well. Like, she doesn't know me enough to say these things.
I have two follow-ups for you. One, did you in fact confess to her? Because that's what she's telling us. Did you confess to these murders to Mila?
Yes. So that's the ex, I guess, then.
Is that what she's saying?
Yes.
Yeah, I've heard that as well. No, I didn't confess that. And a confession. Also, let me just inform you.
Here we go.
I'm innocent of these charges. If there is any charges that will be present, I haven't been charged with anything, and that's all that I can tell you about that.
So let me ask you this then. So it appears that you were the last person to see these two women alive, or one of the last people to see these two women alive. Does that scare you? You're saying you didn't do it, but does it concern you that you're one of the last people to see them alive, and nobody knows what happened to them at this point?
Sure. No, I understand that. But that's not my fault. That's not my concern. That doesn't have anything to do with me. I can't give you any answer about that. Just because I'm the last person to see them, obviously, like I said, I've told you my side of the story, and that's all there is to it.
So,
that's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
So I just wanted to ask you, do you have any theories as to what may have happened to these two women?
Well, to be honest with you, man, since I've been in here, I talk to a lot of people. I have friends and family that still support me, and I've heard that a third woman was found in Cape Coral, and this was big on the news, and so it doesn't surprise me that it sounds as though somebody is going around doing these terrific things, and like I said, since I've been incarcerated now in the Lee County Jail, a third woman's been found in Cape Coral.
We're still working on that. I don't know that I remember any other women being found, but
oh shit.
I'll look into that and see.
Well, that's what I've heard. So maybe I'm incorrect on this. I'm not entirely sure, but just what I've heard. It's hard for me to hear. It's hard for me to get clear news, being that actually in Lee County Jail I'm housed in segregation. I don't get to see the news or anything like that. I just get to hear things from family members and other people.
So just to confirm, you haven't confessed to Mila and you haven't confessed to anyone to these murders?
No, but are they saying that I did?
We're hearing that you may have confirmed to multiple people. That's why I was asking you.
Right. And I've heard the same thing. But it doesn't...
JB donated $10. Is this thing on?
That doesn't mean that they're true.
Yes.
Something else that people were talking about at your latest court appearance, people were talking about your shaved head and that you had what looks like a swastika on your head.
Oh,
do you want to talk about that? Because people are making judgments based on that as well.
The question that you asked me, I don't wish to speak on that.
Okay.
Why? You think it's an Aryan thing or something?
Oh, hell no!
What is that? Is it like a gang thing, or is it just why I don't want to talk about it? JB, thank you so much. JB and Tammy. What y'all think about this? I don't know if it's going to be really an interesting trial. I mean, we could tune into like the opening statements, maybe some. If he takes a stand, I want to see him weave his story. This shit over here is losing me though. All this crazy concoction. Because even at one point, she states that supposedly cops had said that they had seen him in like all this blood and stuff, which I would think that's on body cam. But he's trying to say, and I had an article, I'll see if I can find it again. He's trying to say that there was like a trafficking ring that set him up. And because he didn't do what they wanted him to do, well, this was punishment, the two murders. Instead of murdering him, they murdered two of these other people.
I don't think it's not relevant to the situation in any
It is relevant. Yeah, I want to know.
I don't think it's something that needs to be brought up.
I think he'll take the stand too, Coffee Addict, right? Like he seems like he has that kind of attitude. He'll take the stand because he tells these stories and he feels, it seems like he thinks he's convincing people.
Okay, that's fair. I just wanted to ask. Viewers at home were asking, so I wanted to ask you for your side. So really quickly, Wade, I want to jump back in. I know that you said you met Christine just that night at the Buddha room, and obviously you guys spent the night together and a part of the morning together. Was there any
UNC 80
conversation? Did you
Cardinal
tell
Richard
her
donated
her plans
$5.
for that day,
The
next day? Was she
bukkake
gonna go
residue on
anywhere,
Wade
meet
Wilson face is throwing me off.
Yo, you tripping, man. The bukkake residue on Wade Wilson face is throwing me off.
Body. We're just trying to understand, what happened to her.
Thank you for the vibe.
Yeah, we're trying to find out what happened to her. So anything you can tell us will help.
Well, here's what I was concerned about, and here's something that the police have not even. I'm not sure they've investigated into it or not. She didn't tell me what she was gonna do the next day. Like, she didn't tell me her plans. Honestly, like. Okay, here we go. She didn't tell me, you know what I mean, what she was gonna do. But here's what I tried to convey to the police, and I don't know if they've looked into it. They didn't even remember when I told you that we left the Buddha with her friend and another man, and he, I don't know his name, the guy that lived on off McGregor. And so what I told the police, because they did ask me, they said, the night that we left his house and went and got an Uber ride to her house, he was going to take us in my car, and he was going to drive us to Kristen's house. So Kristen told him her address, and he knew where she lived. Now, the other thing about it is the reason that we left his house was actually because he was kind of like weird. He was really strange. Like, the longer we stayed there, me, Kristen, and Kristen's friend, none of us wanted to be there. We were all kind of like, this guy's weird, he's real strange, he's a little off. And so none of us wanted to be at his house anymore, which is the reason we wanted to leave. Now, the problem was with leaving in my car, me and Mila have this car, the Hellcat, and I can't drive a stick shift. Usually I let Mila drive, she drives, and I sit in the passenger seat. And so this guy, the way that we got to his house was because he drove. He could drive a stick shift. So there was another problem of leaving his house was, I'm about to run out of gas, I can't drive a stick shift. And so we told him her address, and he was going to drive us to her house. But for whatever reason, when we were about to leave, he decided that he didn't want to come anymore, and he didn't. And so this is another individual that I've tried when the police investigated me, and I told them about him. I don't know his name. I don't know who he is. I know vaguely where he lives. Maybe I could find it. And I've told them that. And whether or not they've looked into this further, I'm not sure.
And that gentleman was Christine's friend, correct?
Yes. No. He was somebody that we had met that night at the Buddha.
Gotcha.
So I don't think that he was Kristen's friend. But if he was, I'm not really sure, because when I met all of them, they were already conveying, together. They were already together. So he may or may not be her friend. I don't want to tell you something that I don't know. But as far as I could tell, he was just somebody that they met that night.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
As far as Diane is concerned, I know you guys spoke about directions, and she gave you directions back to Fort Myers. When you gave her a ride, did she talk about anything else with you?
No, she didn't really talk about much. She just talked about work, and I don't even remember like what she said she did for work. Like, I can't remember that. But she talked vaguely about like going to work, and that was it. The ride that we had together was short, like 4 or 5 minutes, maybe at most, and that was it. So we didn't really talk a whole lot. It was real short ride, and dropped her off. And I thought that she wanted me to drive her all the way to work. That's the assumption that I was under. But then she said she just wanted to be dropped off at the bus. So that was what I did.
And at this point, you told me you don't have a lawyer, or you have a public defender, but you're seeking outside counsel. Is that correct?
Yes, I am seeking outside counsel. I have had people outside of the public defender's office contact me, and there is certain people that are considering taking my case on.
So obviously, Wade, this interview was to get your side of things. Is there anything else that people at home should know from your point of view?
you, I would say to the people at home, do not listen to what necessarily the media says all the time. Not to convey you guys, not to say anything about you guys, but don't always listen to what the media says. Don't always listen to false reports. A man is guilty until proved innocent, and he is not guilty until proved innocent. And the thing about it is that I don't, I'm just a man sitting in jail, and I'm being slandered. I'm being talked down to. I'm being put on a very bad place. I'm being put in a very bad place, and it's not fair to me. I have a family. I have 2 children.
Oh, you got kids too?
And I'm a God-fearing man, and I just
God, all in the name of Jesus.
wanted to get my story out there and to clarify everything that's going on. And I just hope that people, take all this into consideration and look at me in a different light, and that people, hopefully they just can support me and be here for me. Thank you so much.
Amazing. Amazing. So that's starting on Monday. I thought it was somewhat interesting. Here's another jail call.
And she was alive. Even your own father testified that you called him saying you met Melton at a bar, you spent the night together, you went back to her house, and you didn't know why, but you choked her, rolled her up in a carpet. How do you explain that?
Right. Well, those things that were said to my father, they were said by me. Of course, they were false too.
Cape Coral police say while driving Melton's car, Wilson picked up mother of 2, Diane Ruiz, choked her, and ran her over multiple times. As for the confessions to his father,
I was forced. That wasn't a call that I willingly wanted to make.
Wilson claims it's all part of a conspiracy being
Here we go.
covered up, one that he's trying to expose. He says he was recruited from Key West to be part of a crime organization in Lee County.
A lot of things that we were doing from Key West to Fort Myers, including the human trafficking, including, various other things, prostitution with the women, drug trafficking.
Wilson says some of the prostitution was happening at a local spa, and he can prove there was nefarious activity happening there. What's the proof?
Cell phone records will show, text messages will prove, and these are things that my lawyers already have.
When I called Wilson's lawyer, he wouldn't answer any of my questions. I'm not sharing the name or location of the spa.
Ooh, Lauren DeMolo, we covered that.
Wilson claims Lauren DeMolo worked there, Cape Coral's most well-known missing person.
No way. We covered that story. He's trying to link that up to that. I was in contact with some people about that story. It's a sad story because I remember her father was really advocating for her. Lauren DeMolo. Yeah, I covered this shit alone. Damn, I didn't realize this video got almost 43,000 views back in the day. Covered Lauren a long time ago.
And this is one of the last times that she's seen on camera. She is reportedly seen by others after, but on this day, June 18, the day before she went missing, that we know of, she's seen on surveillance video Thursday morning applying for a job as a gas station clerk at the Speedway, less than half a mile from her apartments. The name of the apartment is Coronado Parkway Apartment, and she lived with her boyfriend, Gabriel Pena, at these apartments. On June 19, the following day, Gabriel woke up around 6 a.m. to go to work. He said Lauren was sleeping, and he kissed her and headed out the door. That same morning, there's a maintenance worker, and he claims to have seen Lauren. I believe it was around 8:15, sometime that morning. They encounter each other. She asks him about if he knows if there's any apartments in that area because she's looking to get out of her situation that she's in. And he said no. They had a brief conversation. He gave a vague description of her wearing a t-shirt and shorts, and that was that. But Lauren's family, from what I read, found that story to be a little bit strange because, one, she had borrowed money, I think it was the previous month, to make sure that she had paid her rent on time, and so she had just paid her rent in full. The family also weren't aware of what she might have meant by situation, and they said that they didn't know this guy Gabriel too well. Another thing, and there's quite a few things that happened that morning, is Lauren's phone, her Facebook Messenger, made a call to Gabriel's phone, Facebook Messenger, between 10 and 11, a video call, and he didn't answer.
The last person to see her was her boyfriend.
Gabriel Peña, her boyfriend of 4 years.
I'm worried. I'm worried and scared. I'm not scared because I ain't doing anything, but I just worried.
When he said that, I'm like, bro.
That something really did happen.
But you don't think she just left on her own now, do you?
I don't think so. She left it on because she would have taken at least some clothes. And her toothbrush or her makeup.
Peña told me he last saw her on Friday morning when he left for work. When he got home, dumolo was gone.
So my thing is she went out with one of her friends. Her friend got her all messed up and drug, and I don't know what, after that, I don't know what happened.
Gabriel said that when he returned home, Lauren wasn't there, but her cell phone was there. Cape Coral police also released that on June 19th, somebody actually found Lauren's purse, okay, at this Four Freedoms Park. Now, it's the same purse that she was wearing June 18th that we saw on video at the gas station. Let me just give you a little visual on the map here. This is where she lived with her boyfriend down to the right, Coronado Parkway, in one of the apartments. This was the Speedway, I believe. And then this was the park, and it's all walking distance. Lauren did not have a car or a license, so she walked everywhere, and she would frequent this park quite often.
So she's still missing. I did cover this back then. I think I even did a live stream on it. This is her father here.
Just really irking the shit out of me is this was the remains of another human being. She was a homeless woman. This is what I'm told, who's been missing for approximately a year and a half. But the report that came out was that no family members and no one ever reported her missing. But yet somehow her teeth and her dental records were matched from a national database. And I guess the questions that I have is, if this is a homeless woman and none of her family members contacted anyone that she was missing for the last year and a half, how did her dental records wind up in a national database? I don't know. And if no one reported her missing, how, I don't know, maybe it's just me. I did, like, other homeless people, like, you know, tell the police, hey, listen, this other homeless person in our homeless camp is missing. And if that's the case, did they just automatically go out and find their, you know, dental records and put them in a database? The whole thing to me just doesn't make sense. You know, it's, I don't get it. It doesn't really make sense. And let's just say, yes, that her records for somehow or for some reason was in a national database. Didn't the medical examiner, you know, search that database, since all you had was skeletal remains, before anybody has a news conference and says, you know, this is possibly my daughter?
So yeah, I was waiting for him to say it. This is what was the messed up thing about this story. I forgot about this. They literally had a press conference where they announced, like, oh, this could possibly be his missing daughter. Imagine this is you, your child missing, all this kind of shit and all. And
also that they found Lauren dumolo.
On Tuesday, October 5th, deputies responded to a vacant wooded lot of Pine Island Road regarding skeletal remains being located. The skeletal remains were confirmed to be human remains. As normal with any investigation involving discovery of human skeletal remains, detectives began reviewing recent missing person cases. Based on limited information at this time, it is believed the skeletal remains belong to a white female, aged 30 to 50, with small stature. It is believed the person has been deceased less than 5 years, but longer than 6 months. One of the missing person cases reviewed is that of Lauren dumolo, who is being investigated by the Cape Coral Police Department. At this time, we cannot confirm the skeletal remains belong to Lauren dumolo. However, it cannot be excluded.
So, you know, they did say it can't be confirmed, but at the same time you're mentioning her, so just imagine as like you might kind of get your hopes up. Not that you want your kid to be dead, but it's been years, and you're like, oh, maybe there's something. Maybe this can be like a clue, like whatever. And it turns out it wasn't her. It was a homeless person. So, the dad was pretty upset about that. She's still missing to this day, and that's a local Florida story. And so this guy, I was shocked because I didn't even get to this part. I didn't even listen to this video. I just, I loaded it up. And this guy is trying to link Lauren to the other two women that he's been accused of. But my opinion, he's reaching. This was a really weird story. The boyfriend wasn't charged either. A lot of people thought the boyfriend was sus, but he wasn't charged. And to this day, she's still missing.
Person's case. She hasn't been seen since 2020. Wilson says high-profile people use that spa, and some of the people involved in the alleged crime ring are testifying against him in his murder trial.
I am the loose end that is so easily...
He's saying people in the crime ring are going to testify against him? They got the crime ring to testify?
And some of the people involved in the alleged crime ring are testifying against him in his murder trial.
I am the loose end that is so easily just X'd out.
Talking with Wilson, it really does appear like he's trying to curry favor and save his own life. He talked a lot about former Lee County Sheriff Mike Scott. I talked with Scott on the phone. He told me Wilson's allegations are outlandish and not true. So now let's talk about that alleged crime ring. Fort Myers police told me they haven't found anything regarding human trafficking. Cape Coral police said the Lee County Sheriff's Office and the state attorney's office are aware of his claims, but they're not looking into it because it didn't happen within their jurisdiction. LCSO said they couldn't answer my questions, and same with the state attorney's office. And as far as Wilson's claims about Lauren DeMolo, Cape Coral police said they don't think there's any connection between the two because Wilson was locked up before DeMolo disappeared.
Wilson was locked up before DeMolo disappeared. So there's that crazy story. That'll be Monday. Oh, let me show you a quick sidestep. I don't know if you guys, just to wacky, what is today? I don't even know what today's Friday, right? Wacky Fridays. I don't know if you've heard of this or not because the schools are going crazy right now. All right. First, we covered the other day about this this teacher that was stripping bucket naked, and there's cellulite all over the place, according to Quanell X. And she claims now that her boyfriend did it as a revenge thing. But now there's this other story. I don't know if you've heard about this. Hide your kids, hide your wife. I need to clip that audio. I'm working on my little audio deck right now. Clip that. I'm gonna add it to my little audio deck. But now there's this crossing guard, maybe cross something else too. Crossing guard accused of e-cigarettes, giving middle school kids e-cigarettes, marijuana to students in Darby.
Crossing guard in Delaware County has been arrested. 26-year-old Kiara Lee is charged with giving marijuana.
And she's a small person. Oh, hold on, I was trying to get the full screen.
And e-cigarettes to young students at Penwood Middle School. It is Wednesday night. Shari's off. Sarah Bloomquist is joining us, and the big story in Action News is the arrest of that crossing guard in Darby, Delaware County.
Authorities say along with giving kids marijuana, she was also contacting at least one student via text messages.
Action News reporter John Paul live at media tonight with the full story. John.
Yeah, Rick, Sarah, we talked to the Delaware District Attorney today, the Delaware County District Attorney here today, and he outlined all of those charges. We also know that crossing guard worked at a rec center with kids near the police department, and tonight police say that she gave drugs to a 14-year-old girl. Our cameras were there last night as police led 26-year-old Kiara Lee to a waiting van, her feet shackled. She faces a list of charges, including possession of drugs and
I wonder how old she is. Did they say how old she is? She probably kind of fit in with the kids in a way. She's a crossing guard, but she looks so small and short in stature. She's probably, I was going to say, I don't think she's a parent. I don't know if she is or not, but one of these party moms. If anybody's ever seen that movie, Ma, we're constantly joking about Mama's Love. Ma, I love the movie. It was freaking insane. Ma was like this party mom. Well, she actually had a really messed up past, though, but she was kind of like this party hip mom that wanted to get cool with the kids. And so, come over mama's house and come hang out. And we're going to have drinks. We're going to have fun. And Ma was even crushing on one of the boys and stuff. And she wanted to be the cool mom, live the childhood that she never got to live. So in her adulthood, she's partying with all these kids. Oh, I'll get you some beer. Come to mama's house. Meanwhile, she got her own kid locked up in the attic. I'm not going to spoil it. Let me not spoil it for you guys. It's a really crazy, insane story. That's what we was joking about, Ma.
And corruption of minors. Investigators say she used her position as a crossing guard at an intersection near Penwood's.
Position as a crossing guard? Imagine that, like in school, being a crossing guard gives you power and shit.
She faces a list of charges, including possession of drugs and corruption of minors. Investigators say she used her position as a crossing guard at an intersection near Penwood's Middle School to get close to kids and gave at least one child edible marijuana.
She's supposed to be, as you said, a crossing guard protecting children. Instead, she's using that position to get to know children and then sharing harmful products.
The Delaware County District Attorney says they are looking to see if more kids got drugs from Lee. In the affidavit obtained by...
Man, the plug got caught up. You got to find a new plug now.
Action News, at least 4 kids were interviewed by police.
You can imagine a child who's taken edible marijuana and is sitting in a classroom is not exactly paying attention, becoming an A student.
According to investigators, Lee gave a vape to the child as well and even texted with her about her experience after taking marijuana. We know that Lee also worked at a rec center nearby and was known in the community.
I do know exactly who you're talking about, and I always see her on that side of McDade and Summit.
We talked to one mom picking her son up from Penwood Middle School today. She was surprised by what the crossing guard was accused of doing.
My reaction to it is another reason why I'm scared for my son to go here, and I'm glad that he graduated.
Back out here live now. Police are looking into this, especially since that she had so much access to children, having worked at that nearby rec center. So, Sarah, tonight they're asking parents to call them if they might have any information about other victims who may be out there.
Dangerous time. That's why I'm really glad and blessed that I can pick up my daughter from school. She don't have to take the bus. I hope it stays like that, because these kids... just leaving the school, or even so many stories of what goes on in these buses, of people getting beat up, or the crazy ass bus drivers, all kinds of stuff going on in the bus. The cheese bus. I used to ride those buses when I was a kid. It wasn't as crazy back in the day. I mean, I got into some fights in school, not many, but at some point you're going to get tested in school or whatever. But it wasn't crazy, I feel like, nowadays. Especially maybe with social media, it makes it worse probably. Let's see. Is there anything else? We can come back later for Sarah Boone if we just want to chill and listen to the hearing. Monday, we're back for Karen Reed. Spicy. A lot of people hot on the internet about Karen Reed. Now, I don't blame them. And this whole thing with the video being altered, the whole inverted thing, they better have a good answer for that on Monday when they do the redirect. Right now it's still cross-exam, but when they do the redirect, I don't know if they're going to try to argue that the video just came like that. That's not a good look. That's not a good look. They should have just, I don't know. So we'll have to see what they say, because you should have known and had forethought that these people are looking into everything and that they're saying this is a conspiracy and a cover-up. So, like, you should know, why have this video inverted? It can make a difference. So we'll have to see. We'll have to see what happens with that. And I found a really funny clip this morning. I might post it to Twitter later about, I can show you guys. It was really funny, but like, he was just, let me see if I said it to myself, from the defense team. Did I say it to myself? I was going to tweet it. It's a really short video.
Video of Reed's SUV that prosecutors showed to the jury may not be what it seems. This video appears to be flipped. The image of it, the defense says flipped on purpose. News Center 5's David Bienick live at the courthouse in Dedham to explain more. David.
Erica, this revelation came at the end of today's testimony here, and it caught everyone off guard. Some jurors even looked at each other quizzically, and some may have wondered if they'd just been tricked.
Ooh.
The video shows police pulling Karen Reed's SUV into the Canton Police Department garage after it was seized as evidence. The video appears to show the passenger side, including the passenger side taillight, which prosecutors say was damaged after Reed allegedly backed into John O'Keefe and killed him.
I testify that this is a accurate scene.
But under cross-examination, state police investigator Yuri Buhenik confirmed the video is actually inverted. It shows not the passenger side, but the driver's side of the SUV. At one point, it shows the driver getting out.
Not once.
Sorry, guys.
Did you mention that this video is actually completely inverted?
Not no.
How did you discover that the image was inverted?
I saw the word police and thought I had dyslexia.
In the video, the word police appears backwards on another vehicle parked in the garage. So does the number 4 on one of the garage's overhead doors. Defense attorney Alan Jackson believes it was no accident.
The timestamp across the bottom is not inverted, which means somebody had to put that on the inverted, the manipulated, the altered video on purpose.
Here is the video again after we have uninverted it. What is in fact the passenger side taillight is out of view, and there appears to be somebody standing near it.
Who's the guy in the watch cap, in the winter cap, back there by that right rear taillight the entire time by himself? That's Proctor.
So listen, maybe in a lot of situations, and I'll be fair about this. In a lot of situations, inversion probably wouldn't matter. Like I have mine. I used to have mine inverted, whatever. I forgot which way I normally have it. I don't know. It doesn't really matter for me, but sometimes it depends. That YouTube thing is, let me see. That's actually how it's supposed to be. But with the context of, this is what it looks like. It looks like the video was inverted, and you have Michael Proctor by the taillight that was damaged, and so it looks like he's messing around with it or doing something to it. So if you have it inverted, it looks like he's not doing anything wrong. You could look at it like that, but because, I'm not saying he is doing anything wrong, but with the inversion, it's kind of like deceptive a little bit, because you think that the driver's side is on the other side, and you think that Proctor standing by the driver's side, not the side that allegedly she would have had to hit John with. So it just looks funny. Like they shouldn't have, they shouldn't have done that. And in certain situations, like right now, this would not matter. But like if it was a trial, and we're like, I don't know. At the spirit box, right? The prosecution is going to have to clean it up. Just like the 227 search, they're going to have Cellbrite come in and have something. Yeah, they should have just, from the very beginning, just owned up to it, because people are obviously going to look at it. Even the jury, who knows what they're going to think about that. So he better come up with some good ish on redirect. It still doesn't sway me, but it does look like you could potentially be doing something deceptive. I haven't seen any other video inverted except this one. So I don't know. They're gonna say it came like that. Did it come like that? What's up with that? Let me see. Anything else? Oh, make sure check out the memberships. I'm gonna do a short edit in a video, a quick little video, so people know like there's a lot of perks with the membership. If you're interested in it, you get the monthly mile marker, how long you've been a member. You get the monthly super chat from memberships. You bypass slow chat, so when it's super busy and have to put slow chat, you don't have to get slowed down. There's a couple other perks. There's member videos, member lives, emojis, all this stuff. I'll do a short little video, so if you ever want to check it out and consider joining up, that'd be dope. Really helps the channel out, especially this trial. For me, for other people, it's amazing, but for me, my viewership's kind of low on this trial, so it helps out when we got slow time. All right, so we'll probably be back later. Subscribe to the second page as well. We'll probably be back later for Sarah Boone. Sarah Boone is accused of leaving her boyfriend to die, zipped in a suitcase, is now not happy with her 8th lawyer. There's nothing you can do for this lady. At some point, but can't they just say, like, listen, you just have to go to trial or something? They're kind of... Is it her? I guess it's her, right? Is it her? Has to be her. Nobody wants to deal with her. Kelly, I'm gonna do that on a video. I know you've been asking me for a while to play that video. I've already played it in the members, but the next Karen Read live that I do, I'll play it just for you, okay? And I've already watched this. The video, it still doesn't convince me, but it's the video. Let's see. It's the video of the reenactment saying that it doesn't make any sense. BL actually sent me the video. It's from, I believe it's from the Micro guy. One of those guys. Bear! All right, guys. I'll see you on the next one. I'm going to go get the baby. There's a bunch of things that I need to do. I'm looking into improving the member stuff, too. So I'll keep you guys posted. And improving the live stuff, too. And the emojis. More emojis coming. I'm going to make some more emojis and stuff. So, and we need a chase. A chase would be nice. There was a chase earlier today. A pretty decent chase. But apparently California has bad weather. Lots of clouds, and so the choppers haven't been going. They haven't been going. So we might have to revisit Karen over the weekend. I know it's on a lot of people's minds. It's on my mind. Maybe we can do a live, but I'll take the videos you guys submit, and we go over it. Of course, I have to be careful playing other creators' videos, but if you have news clips or you just want me to, if you want to send me a timestamp and we cover a specific part of it, we can do that. You know, or play it for a little bit. We can do that. There's all this, people were really upset too because Karen Read went out to the Celtics game last night. I mean, I don't really. They were trying to say that like it's like a slap in the face to the family and stuff like that. I mean, she's free right now, so she can do whatever she wants. I can kind of see how maybe the family could feel some kind of way. Do the O'Keefes believe she's involved? Does the family believe she did it? Like 100% she did it? Has the family ever commented on that? I guess, I guess they probably think she did it. But if I was her too, man, I don't know what my outcome was going to be. I could go to jail maybe for a long time. I'd probably live it up while I'm out. JB, thank you for the 5 memberships. Thank you. Appreciate that. Yeah, if you guys, make sure you check out the front page of my YouTube page. There's members playlist on there. Watch some of the videos, hang out. Consider signing up. Thank you. Oh, so the family believes she did it. Okay. Yeah, I saw people were tweeting about that yesterday. I didn't say anything about it because it's like, I don't know, like she's gonna do what she wants to do while she's out, Shit, if it was me, like I said, if it was me and I knew I could be facing some time, I'd probably try to go out a little bit. I did see, too, that she had lunch with her attorneys. I saw that somewhere tweeted today. And she's like a celebrity. She's like a celebrity now. And that it seems like it. And so are the lawyers. So, I don't know. All right. I'll be back later. I love you guys. Thank you so much. Hit the like button on the way out. Take care. Peace. Bye. Bloop, 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 bloop. Bloop, 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 bloop.